Very worried about you, and I think it's terrific. I think it's terrific that he is. Oh, mothers are allowed to, you know. But
yeah,
I think it's terrific that you bounced back so well.
Well, yeah, that was just something I had to go through, I suppose. And
right.
In a lot of ways, it made me much more mature, gave me a lot more wisdom. But I've never been in such good health as I am now. I work out every day and play a lot of tennis. Right. So I feel fantastic right now.
That's great. But that seems to be a thing that you either survive or go under with in Los Angeles, doesn't it? That whole scene that people go through where their emotional values and their physical values seem to get very screwed up.
Well, I started to realize that if I just continue this way of being depressed and going downhill, nobody's going to care. Everybody's just going to forget.
Right.
So you're not making a statement by doing that. You just got to... people only recognize somebody that really takes care of themselves and has self-respect. And that's very important.
Did you just come to a day where you thought, well, I've got to get myself out of this, that's it?
Yeah, I was feeling so bad at one time that I got to a point where I just didn't want to feel that way anymore.
Right.
And I really got sick of the feeling. So I just got some therapy and some counseling and never looked back from then on.
Oh, good on you. Well, that's terrific. What are your brothers doing at the moment? They're in Miami, are they?
My brothers right now are in Miami. I think Robin's promoting his new album, which is doing very well in Europe. And Barry is just about to start promoting Kenny Rogers' new album, which he's just finished producing.
Right.
And I'm sure there'll be a BG product in the works eventually.
Good. What about yourself? Have you got a record coming up that we're going to hear?
Well, I've got about 8 new songs finished for my new album. I'm looking for a record company right now to record it on. But hopefully I can have a release sometime about spring or summer next year.
Mm-hmm. And what about a tour to Australia? It's been a long time since you've been down here.
Yeah, it's been a long... Everybody asks me that. Of course, the Australians always ask me that. It's been a long, long time, and I do miss it. So I'm going to try and get down if I can in the new year to see my family.
Oh, great, great. And will you be working at that time when you come down?
We're talking about it. We're talking about finding a place to play when I come down, somewhere nice. We don't know yet.
Right. Probably a theatre this time or a good club.
What's that?
Probably a theatre or a good club or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere nice. The St. George's Leagues Club, hey?
That'll do for a start, yeah, right, okay. Now, you've got a young fellow you're going to introduce us to after this break, and he's your co-star in your current show.
That's right.
You might tell us a little about him. I know him from America, but I don't think most Australians do. We haven't seen him.
Well, he's one of the funniest men in this country, without a doubt, and he's now frequently guest hosting The Tonight Show here, the Johnny Carson show, and he hosts that very many times. He opened up for my show in Las Vegas and probably will open up for me there again in the future. But he's a very, very big star in this country, David Brenner.
All right. We'll take a break. Good talking to you, Andy, and we'll see you after this break. Andy Gibb. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome to our studio with Andy Gibb, David Brenner. Thank you. David, it's very nice to meet you. I've seen you on American television when I've been over there quite a few times, but you're a bit of a new face for Australia. And Andy was saying that you're co-starring with him in his current show. Any hope of you coming down to Australia yourself?
Well, I'll tell you the strangest thing. You're not going to believe this because I'm here on television. I'm saying this because I'm here on television. I have had, it isn't even a desire, some kind of an urge to go to Australia since I'm a child. And I don't know why. I mean, I didn't grow up with Australians. There aren't that many in my old neighborhood. There was something about going to Australia, and I'm going to go there in December over the Christmas, New Year's holiday, just to go there as a person, not to do any shows. Right. I believe that I had a show called Snip, which did not air here, which aired in Australia in 1978 for 5 nights. That's all the shows we did. Other than that, I've had no attachment to Australia professionally.
All right. Just tell me about yourself. I was talking to Andy about family and that sort of thing. Are your parents proud of your career, or do they find it all a bit weird?
Well, no, they find my career normal. They find me weird. You see, I am what they call, I don't know what you call it down under, but we call it an accident child. You know what that means? Yeah, that's where you're like my parents. My mother changed life a couple times before I was born. I don't know.
Twice, and you still turned up, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where your mother goes to the hospital and thinks she has gas, and the doctor says, you know, you have legs on your gas, and here I am. So my parents are very old. I mean, they're alive and they're well and they're wonderful. They're wonderful parents, but they're very old. So they thought just the idea that they had me was weird, and from then on, everything else was weird. Right. So, but they're very much for my career. Yeah.
Oh,
very
that's
much
good.
full.
They didn't want you to get a nice, sensible job.
Well, they just wanted me to stay out of jail.
Right.
And anything above that is a plus.
Right.
So I just went into show business. It was a fluke anyway. So they're very happy that I'm happy, and they're happy that I am. That's all it is.
Okay. Andy was telling us earlier that you often host the Tonight Show when Johnny
Yes.
Carson isn't there, as does Joan
Right.
Rivers, indeed. And we had
Yes.
Joan Rivers on the satellite to the Mike Walsh show about 6 weeks ago, and she was just wonderfully wild and crazy. And I wonder, because I know you've worked with her quite often, what's her wit like off camera?
Off camera, she's like being in the tiger pit, covered with a meat suit on.
You mean we've seen the nice side of her?
You have seen, well, let me put it this way, Mike. You have seen the tame side of her.
Wow.
Yeah, if you want to know what she's like, just take a bath tonight with a radio in a tub.
That should give me a pretty
She's
good
crazy.
idea.
I mean, yeah, the shingles fell off her roof. Her porch lights out. What can I tell you? She's off.
Now, in the show you're doing with Andy, there's a routine you do, which is, excuse me, are you reading that paper? And apparently this is your most requested routine, and I wonder if you could give us a sample of it today.
Well, I have an album coming out, my first album, which I entitled, Excuse Me, Are You Reading That Paper? And it's based on, I do a lot of dumb things we say in life. We know they're dumb and we can't stop saying them. You know, for example, like this morning I did something very stupid here in the hotel. I'm staying in the hotel here in Los Angeles, and I called up the operator when I awakened. I called up the operator. I said, could you give me the correct time? And then I thought, wait a minute, who calls for the wrong time? So
I do.
Yeah, Andy does. But the album is based on a line that I do, which is a true out-of-life happening, and that's the kind of humor I love the best, is what's really true and what really happened to you. It happened to me twice within about 2 or 3 weeks. It happened to be in New York City. It could have been anywhere in the world. I was sitting on a subway train, and I was sitting there, and I was sitting on a newspaper. And a man came over to me and said, excuse me, are you reading that paper? Now, I didn't say anything because I didn't know what to say. I mean, what can you say? You're nearsighted? I mean, what can you really say? But I thought about it, and about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, when it happened to me again, I was prepared. So when it happened again, I said yes. I stood up, turned the page, and sat down again.
After Effects.
What was your childhood like, David?
It was, you know, everyone thinks everyone's rich in America. Well,
Yeah,
this was an we were really the exception. I mean, I wore these hand-me-down clothes. You know, I don't know what you call them there, but rejects. You know what rejects are?
Sure.
Something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
What do you call them in Australia? Something's wrong with them. So
Seconds.
yeah, rejects.
Seconds.
Oh,
Seconds.
yeah, seconds.
You're
Well,
right.
these were like hundreds, 200. My mother, one time, my mother bought me, I remember, a silk shirt. I think it was my 8th birthday, a beautiful silk shirt. It was from Hong Kong, it was imported. It was $1.25. Beautiful, except both pockets face down. Or another time she got pillowcases, Irish linen pillowcases. Right. I think they were $2 a pillowcase, and there was no opening. And we just laid them on top. But the best bargain was one day, she came home, a box, 100 pairs of shoelaces for $1. No metal tips. Every morning, the whole family, we're sitting on the end, sucking you. So that's what my childhood was really like.
Yeah, right. You've written a book, I'm told. What's it about?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's about, it's anecdotes. It's a good bedside book. You can read, you know, one page and go to sleep. You're not missing anything. It's anecdotes out of my neighborhood, my family, my friends, how I got out of the neighborhood, because I grew in I grew up in the American slum,
right.
and now they call it a socioeconomically deprived environment. In those days, it was a slum.
Right.
And then a little bit about show business, but not that much. Just little anecdotes. Some of them are half a page long, 1 page long, and I called it soft pretzels with mustard, which is an American street food, particular to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I grew up.
Right. And
it was a nickel, and you get a long, soft pretzel with mustard on top of it. And if you ate that, you could taste it for like 3 days. So it was a good poor boy's food.
Right. You talk about where you come from, which is Pennsylvania, which is the East Coast, and I guess
Yes.
you know New York very, very well indeed. Do you prefer
Yes, I live there.
Do you prefer New York or LA?
Oh, I much prefer New York City. There's a good reason why Disneyland is out in California. I mean, New York is, you know what I love about New York is that nothing bothers the people. They have a way of compensating for any problem. I mean, like every year, and I hope you don't have that there. I'd hate to think that someday I'm going to live in a country that has this after leaving here. We have a garbage strike in New York every year. I mean, last year it hit at Christmas time. Garbage piled 20 feet high in the streets. Of course, New Yorkers, you know, they're wrapping lights around it, little angel on the top. I had a friend of mine got rid of his garbage better than anyone. I got rid of it because I combined mine with the crime. I took my garbage out in a suitcase, I put it down, I looked away for a second. A friend of mine, this is ingenious to me, Mike. A friend of mine during a real bad, it was about 15-day strike, and the garbage was just, you couldn't get rid of 15 days worth of garbage, and he cooks at home. I play it smart, I don't cook during the garbage strike. And he took his garbage, and he took an old suit of his, and he sewed together the pants leg and the sleeves of the suit, and he stuffed his garbage inside of it. And then he got into a taxi cab, and he sat there in a taxi cab, and he told the driver, I'm going to 85th in York, take him up to 91st and 5th. I prefer New York. Yeah.
That's New York, yeah. Well, listen, David, it's been an absolute joy to meet you today, and when you do...
It's been great talking to you.
We'll let you know where to get in touch with us when you come down, because we'd like to show you around.
Oh, I'd love to. I really look forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Oh, no, not you. I was just going to say, can I just say something, Mike?
Yes, Andy.
Yeah, can I just say hi to my sister, my grandmother, and all the kids in Sydney?
Yeah, me too. Hi, sis. Hi, Grandma.
Well, you might as well do the whole thing. What are the kids' names, Andy?
Oh, all the kids' names? Gee,
Got you now, right?
Barry.
Barry, Tiffy,
Tiffy.
Debbie.
Debbie. Andy.
One's been named after me.
One was after me. Oh, after him.
There's another one that's just been born.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, I'm not sure the name. It's just a different
The new one.
The new one.
That one that was born.
Yeah, that's a good
The new
expression.
one.
That's a good expression too. Talking of
Yes.
expressions, and people talk about a new baby. You wonder what other kind there is, don't you?
Yeah, as a beard, you know it wasn't a new baby.
David, lovely to meet you, Andy. Good to make contact with you again, and we'll
Thank you, Mike.
I hope you can come down early in the new year, and I hope it's a tour for you. Andy Gibb, ladies and gentlemen, and David Brenner. Thank you both for being here. Nice to see you. We'll take a break.